Hi there, Ina Sahaja here. I'm here today with my good friend and local Boulder yoga teacher, Amanda Jade Fiorino, the founder and creative spark behind Empower Shakti, a global nonprofit organization. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Can you tell me more about Empower Shakti?
I can. Empower Shakti was the inspiration that came from my desire to pursue women's rights and women's development from a holistic standpoint. And I stepped out of Peace Corps in 2010 and was circling, so to speak, almost like the mulberry bush, public health. And the more and more I researched and dove into it and read things, one of my inspirations is Paul Farmer from Partners in Health. And he's a big inspiration, such an incredible being. But I realized that a lot of public health approaches quantify people, and I understand the need for data in order for research to show why we need certain things in this world in terms of development or improving the quality and condition of people's lives. But I knew for myself that I couldn't actually approach people that way from more of a quantitative standpoint. It needed to be from this humanist standpoint, in line with Paul Farmer's philosophy, which is that every single human life is equal to the other, and that one is not greater than the other, and you know, that human decency and that compassion and love should be given to every single individual. So I was actually going to be hosting a fundraiser for Women International, and then I realized, after creating the name for Empower Shakti and having that rise from some residue or force or wellspring of inspiration, that the women's organization that I worked with in Mongolia didn't have the support that it needed. And the woman that I worked with, Bujin, was just so inspirational, and she dedicated all of her time and all of her money and all of her energy. And I just thought, you know, it's more grassroots organizations like that need to be given an opportunity to shine and grow. And they have such a great capacity to improve their community. And so I decided that instead of doing that, I was going to pursue this small little seed of an idea of creating a nonprofit. And of course, I went home and I'm like, I'm going to make a nonprofit! Without realizing just how large and vast that journey would be. Infinite. It still is.
Serving all beings.
Incredibly humbling. Incredibly knocks me on my ass almost every day, in a very good way. Knocks me down a peg, reminds me that there's still that much more to learn. So I started pursuing it, and it really took this whole organic shape. It didn't have this linear approach, and it never really has, which is the beauty behind it. And I think it's the beauty behind having that word Shakti in there, which it's this creative feminine force that's coming in and moving with all this malleability in it. It's not stuck or rigid, and it surprises you at every turn. So it really does embody that, which is really great. And so I started it without realizing just how far I would take it. And at first I thought it was just going to be raising money to give small grants to women's organizations so that they could pursue and continue the programs that they had already established. And then I started realizing, well, my initial intent anyways in diving deeper into holistic practices and contemplative practices was to use it as a form of development. And so I decided to channel it, or use Empower Shakti as a channel, a vehicle for that, to affect change within through that approach, through contemplative practices and holistic, and just seeing how much it's impacted my own life and impacted the lives of friends that I have and people that I know, and how powerful and potent it is, and how sustainable it is. It doesn't take a lot of things. It doesn't take a lot of material and a lot of stuff outside of oneself to embark upon that journey. That it really is this inward investigation and this inward exploration that starts to blossom beautifully and unfold outward, and really shifts the whole dynamic of this external environment that we have in such a loving way and such a benevolent way. So that's the unfoldment of Empower Shakti. And what we essentially do is we work with women's organizations, and in working with them, we deliver an educational infrastructure that provides them support and offers them skills and tools to use in their communities. And they learn those skills and tools through our training programs in contemplative practices and holistic life skills, which holistic life skills is this all-encompassing approach at looking at women's lives, from finances to career to family, leisurely time, which is often discarded and not paid attention to, creativity, and how creativity itself helps to manifest our own world and our reality. And contemplative practices is yoga, meditation, all of those, which is a vast world in itself. And from those training programs, they get to use those to start to investigate their own lives and their own communities and their societies, and see the constructs and the values and norms that are shaping them and shaping their existence, and how they are active participants within that unfoldment. So.
I feel empowered just hearing you speak about that, because we all want to be active participants in creating our community. You know?
We do.
Without that, we're just living under some other regime.
Yeah. One where we're just, we're subject, and we're not, we're not able to contribute.
Yeah, we're not responsible.
Yeah.
We have like no choice.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's such a key component to all of this, and the philosophy behind it is that all of these practices, from yoga to meditation to mantra recitation, to neuroscientific-based approaches and neuroplasticity, they offer an individual the chance to see just how much they contribute to the world and how much they impact the world. And recognizing that and knowing that you have a hand in what's shaping and developing means that you also have a choice. And so that choice leads to profound development, profound shifts. And it allows a community to grow, and in particular in relation to women, because women's rights are deeply challenged globally, we'll put it that way, deeply challenged. In some places far more than others. It goes to show just how strong a community can become when women start to participate, and they start to choose, and they start to make decisions, and they start to impact not only themselves individually or their families, but it starts to create this rippling effect, like a little drop of water in a lake, where it begins to expand, and you see this magnificent growth. And so that choice leads to development, and paralleled by that choice, along with the contemplative practices, the traits that they instill in people are compassion and loving kindness and equanimity, and they're so powerful. And I think we have a tendency to discard things like that really quickly, throw them off to the side, and devalue them, when really you don't need to change a culture in order to be compassionate. You don't need to change a spiritual practice when you have loving kindness. It shifts the whole relationality between each other.
Choice evokes change.
It does.
Broader thinking evokes change. Contemplation, and meditation, and inspiration.
Yeah, it does.
Allow evolution.
Yes.
It's that natural process.
It is, very much so. It's the evolutionary unfoldment of us as beings, and respecting ourselves and respecting others.
So, how can people get involved?
That's a very good question. So, well, we are an infant nonprofit. The biggest piece that is crucial for our expansion and our continuation is fundraising and awareness. And they really go hand in hand. And we'd love people. We have, on our website, we have a Get Involved tab, and there's an array of ways that people can get involved. All the way from hosting a movie night, which is donation-based. People can come so that it doesn't restrict anybody's ability to participate. There are volunteering with our events, when we do have the opportunity for volunteers to come in. And there's also sponsorship. You become an annual sponsor, a one-time sponsor. There's a hosting event, which is a third-party event. So if you're really inspired by what we do and want to participate, you can go on our website and you fill out an application for hosting an event. So you let us know what you'd like to do, and then we provide you with all the resources that you might need, materials and such, like handouts, flyers, things like that, to host the event. And that would be fantastic if we could get more people. Small events. It doesn't have to be something grand. It can be a yogathon. It could be, you donate one of your classes to ESI and the proceeds go to our programs.
Cool. I would do that.
Yeah, I would love for you to. I really would. I would love for you to. So it's that, and it's showing up to our events too, and getting to know us more. And we have an ambassador program.
I need you to jump on board. Come to this next event. June 27th?
July 27th.
July 27th.
Yes.
At
Yoga Junction in Louisville, right on Main Street, and it's 5:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Oh, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And I hope you will be too. Thanks so much for tuning in. Where can they find more information?
www.empowershakti.org, and Shakti is Shakti.